This is Kirk Sinclair, the hiking humanitarian, and I'm talking to Andy Held at the Rocky Mountain Coffee Roasters in Frisco, Colorado, and he's going to share with us his experience with sort of a communal art gallery that had formed at one point in Frisco. Andy, can you fill us in?
Absolutely. In 2001, a bunch of the community got together. We opened an art gallery together, about 6 different people. The plan was originally to sell art that we all made individually. What came of it was more of a community gathering place for people to vent their frustrations and talk about what they want and talk about their needs and talk about their loves and their hates and everything else. We maintained for about 3 years or 4 years with monthly gatherings called Voice Space. And we would get people passing through town who were like scholars. We would get the homeless people out of the woods. We would get the everyday mom and pops out of the street, and some inspirational, some not. We had one guy who was very first day of 9/11 who happened to be in New York and was actually part of the cleanup, and he told us his whole story of being there. So at some point, the group of us decided that we had to do something more and affect a change beyond just all of us discussing it together, and that put us out on the street corner protesting the first Iraq War, and which was very effective for some people. Some people actually were pretty happy with themselves. But for me personally, and I think a few others, especially the ones who we organized it, we all kind of came out of it as what is our direction? What is the real direction? Or what are your convictions? What's your passion? And what are you really going towards? One girl ended up becoming a lobbyist for water rights. So she works with Water Conservation Society here in Colorado, and I actually went towards the direction of how can I actually affect a change through good without wasting anybody's time, without wasting my own time, and through many different ventures, I came to realize that's pretty much through imagery, that's through video and photography, because I believe that's part of the future as far as future commerce is all going to be happening via the internet and through imagery. We're sort of the ADD generation. Nobody likes to hear or read too much or anything else. It's all about sound bites, and it's what kind of story you can tell in a short amount of time. But out of these community gatherings, we became people of action, and that's probably the biggest thing, is because we all bitched and moaned and complained to each other. And at one point there was a turning point of okay, enough bitching and moaning, and now what are we going to do? And this has to be going on in all kinds of different cities all over the country. This is going on, no doubt, in San Francisco and New York and everywhere. But what are people really doing about it? I mean, at some point, are they actually doing something? And hopefully so. That's all we can hope. I mean, at our point, it was our little community. And it did send, the centrifuge spun us around, and it sent us out, flying out in a million different directions. But I hope that some greater good is coming out of what came of that time and from all of these people that were involved. And it does have to be on a local level. It's got to start on a local level in order to be able to affect the change on a greater level.
Okay, thank you very much, Andy. This is Kirk Sinclair, the hiking humanitarian.